183, Burisma. And he's on the board, $183,000 a month. His father is in charge of Ukraine, right? His father is in charge of 3. Obama, I was surprised he gave him this much responsibility, because I wouldn't. His father's in charge of Russia, Ukraine, and China. No, think of this. They put Joe, Sleepy Joe, in charge of 3 countries. Russia, Ukraine, and China, right? Is that right? You don't mind if I go off teleprompter? Isn't this more interesting? They put him in charge. See, he can't do that. He can't go off teleprompter. If he does it, he can't even go on teleprompter, doesn't he? But listen, so he's got Russia, he's got Ukraine, got China. Okay, so Russia, the mayor of Moscow's wife, who's a very wealthy man, she's a very wealthy woman, retired, give him $3.5 million. I wonder why. It must be for his great knowledge of markets. But they gave him 3.5. So when I asked at the debate about it, Chris Wallace said, no, you can't ask him that question. I said, why not, Chris? Why not? By the way, Kristen Welker did a very good job, much better than Chris Wallace. And now Chris Wallace is going on. How did Trump do? Did you see it was 91% for Trump, 9% for Sleepy Joe. Did you see that? A poll. That's when I like polls. You know, when I get them in my favor, I like them. Right? When they come in my favor, I repeat them all the time. I say they're great. When they're not in my favor, I don't discuss them. But they are wrong. They are so wrong. The worst polls are the Fox polls, believe it or not. They're the worst. You know, if you see that poll, it's the same thing I had 4 years ago. 9 states, guaranteed loss. I go into the election. I'm saying, man, this is going to be embarrassing tonight. Darling, this is going to be a very embarrassing evening. I'm not used to losing. Out of 9, I'm down all 9. I'm going to lose all 9. At the end of the evening, I won all 9. All right? I was 9 for 9. I was 9 for 9. And I said, I think these polls are a little bit off. Well, they do it on purpose. You know, it's suppression. They want to depress you so that your beautiful wife, you go out, and they say, you know, we love our president, or before president, we really like Donald Trump a lot. He could do a great job. But, you know, he can't win. The polls are saying he can't win. These polls are much better than 4 years ago, by the way. In fact, now they're getting awfully close. Now, you know, because they can't be embarrassed a second time. They can't. So they're getting a little bit too close. People are very angry at the polls, but it's suppression. You know, we really like him a lot, but let's go to a movie because you know he can't win. So let's go to a movie, darling, and then we'll come home and watch this horrible, horrible defeat of a person that could have been a great president. And they come home, and what happens is millions of people do that, except for one problem. 4 years ago, nobody did it. They went and voted instead. They said, let's go and vote instead of going to see a movie. The movies are no good anyway, okay? They don't make them like they used to make them, I can tell you that. We like those old movies much better, right? But no, and so they go out and they vote. And all of a sudden, remember Hillary said the deplorables? Whoever thought when crooked Hillary? I watched that expression. She called people deplorables, right? And I didn't think, do you remember the other word she used? She used 2 words, deplorable. Very good. Wow, that's a historian. I didn't think anybody would get, I love these little tests, you know? No, I love these little tests. That's right, irredeemable. And I said, that's a horrible word, irredeemable. But it wasn't irredeemable that caught on. To me, irredeemable is worse than a deplorable, right? Which is worse? I think irredeemable. I said, she just called half of the people in the nation irredeemable and deplorable. I watched it live. It was not the most exciting speech, but I said, that's a very nasty thing to say, but I figured nothing. The next day, everybody, I'm a deplorable. The T-shirt was the #1. It was a disaster. Whoever wrote that line for her, he should be out of politics forever. Do we agree? I mean, it was a disaster. So anyway, these are just little sidelights that I give you while I'm baking in the sun. My people are genius. You know, I have a very powerful head of hair. If they would have turned me this way, it would have been hitting me on the hair, and it wouldn't have hurt. In fact, it would have made me even more blonde. I'm fighting for every American of every background, race, color, and creed, including Native Americans. That's why I'm here, Native Americans. That's why we're here. The last administration promised to bring hope and change to Indian country, but they cruelly abandoned you the moment they got your vote, and they went to Washington. That's what they do. By the way, African American, for 3.5 years, they treat them terribly. And then 6 months before the election, they come and they say, I'm going to give you everything. They get the vote, and then they give them nothing. And now they're shocked because we're doing great with African American. We're doing great with Hispanic American. It's gone on for 100 years. It's gone on for 100 years. Give me your vote, give me your vote. And then after the election's over, it's like, gee, I don't remember you. Let's talk in 3.5 years from now, right? Under this administration, you will never be abandoned. I will always stand proudly with our incredible Native American communities, always. Last week, I put forward a vision for Indian country grounded in respecting tribal sovereignty, promoting safe communities and building a thriving economy, delivering better health care, and protecting Native American cultures, languages, and history. Over the last 4 years, I created a nationwide task force to combat the crisis of missing and murdered Native Americans, especially women and children, which is a tremendous problem. You know, I signed into law something about 3 months ago, and a lot of it having to do in Arizona and New Mexico, different places in the country. But it's a serious problem. What happens with murder of women and children in Indian country is a terrible thing. So we're working on it very hard, and for the first time, we have it funded well. It's well funded. And we're looking for these monsters. We're looking for these monsters that do it, and we're looking for people that are missing. It's a tremendous problem. We provided nearly $450 million to support law enforcement and fight the opioid epidemic, and we've made really big progress. And to defeat the virus, we made the largest investment in Indian country in our history. So we're working very hard because the Indian country has been hit very hard by the China plague. That's where it comes from. They say, please don't mention China. I said, why? That's where it comes from. They call it Corona. It sounds like a beautiful seaside island in Italy. No, it's not Corona. It's called the China plague. To deliver jobs and opportunity, we created more than 360 opportunity zones in Native American communities. It's had a tremendous effect. Tim Scott, Senator Tim Scott did that with me. I'm also supporting school choice for Native Americans and every parent all across America. With us today are members of the incredible Lumbee tribe, which has been wrongly denied federal recognition for more than a century. All I know is you have congressmen that want to get this moving. They said, sir, you have to be here with the Lumbee tribe. I said, explain to me about the Lumbee tribe. And they did, but you have congressmen that are with you all the way. Republican, they happen to be Republican, but what can you do? Biden and Obama promised to end this injustice a long time ago and many times, and they broke their word every single time. Just all talk. I told it to him the other night. Joe, you've been here for 47 years. But more importantly, you were here for 3.5 years ago. Why didn't you do it? All this different stuff. We should have done this. We should have done that. We should have closed earlier. Of course, he has one little problem because 2.5 months later, he thought I shouldn't have closed, right? You know. How about his line that we should have closed? I banned people from China, where it was heavily infected, from coming into our country. Biden was totally against that. He called me xenophobic. And now he goes out and says, we should have done it sooner. No, he didn't want to do it at all. And then 2.5 months later, he realized he was doing the same thing with crazy Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi, crazy, she's crazy as a bedbug. Nancy Pelosi, in between stints without mask at beauty parlors, Hey, how about that beauty parlor owner? She was a Trump fan. Do you believe it? She was a Trump. In San Francisco, she was a big Trump fan, and she didn't like what was happening. She didn't like seeing Nancy Pelosi raring at everybody for masks, and then she walks in, hey, give me a haircut, whatever the hell you do to my hair. Give me something, give me something. I want something as fast as you can do it. No, that wasn't good, Nancy, that wasn't good. But this turned out to be a Trump supporter. Can you believe it? The beauty parlor owner. In fact, I think I'm going to go there, maybe have my hair touched up a little bit, because she looks very talented. She's good. She looks good. When I'm reelected, I will proudly sign the Lumbee Recognition Act that should have been signed a long time ago. And the people of North Carolina want that. The people of North Carolina want that, so that's good. That's great. All of your people are here, and it's great. It's a great thing. The people of North Carolina want to see that happen. Your congressman, but North Carolina wants to see it happen. Also with us today is Sonny Perdue, our great Secretary of Agriculture. Where's Sonny? Stand. I don't recognize you with the big mask. Sonny, I'm very impressed. Look at that. Wow. You've come a long way, Sonny. And he's a great secretary. We've given away, given away $28 billion from China directly to our farmers and ranchers. Right? I said, Sonny, let me ask you. He's great. Secretary of Agriculture. I said, Sonny, he knows more about farming. You know, I interviewed 9 people. They were all central casting. They had one problem. They knew nothing about agriculture. One of them, I said, have you ever been to a farm? No, sir. I said, do you know what a horse is or a cow? Yes, sir. Pictures, little pictures. But I said, you've never been. And this was, standard, but they would have looked perfect. I mean, it would have been perfect, but they knew nothing. But I was all set to pick one of them because we're into the world of politics, right? And then Sonny comes in. I said, I don't want to really see him. The guy is he's been governor of Georgia, very popular for 8 years. He was term limited, otherwise he'd still be there. Although Brian's doing a very good job, I have to say. Really good job, the current governor. But Sonny was a very popular politician in Georgia, would have been there as long as he wanted to be. But it was 8 years, and I said, look, I don't want to look at this guy. He's I don't want to look, he's not perfect. He doesn't set them all, meaning he looks too much like me, okay? I don't want that. And he comes in, and within 45 minutes, I knew everything about farming. I knew everything about agriculture. I learned more in 45 minutes than I learned in 45 years of studying it. This guy is such a pro. And I said, how much? I said, Sonny Perdue, the great Sonny Perdue. I said, Sonny, let me ask you, China's targeting our farmers and ranchers. How much? $12 billion from 2 years ago. Right, Sonny? $16 billion this year, meaning last year. I said, good, we're going to tariff them, all of the goods coming in. And we gave the farmers $12 billion and $16 billion, and the farmers love Trump. I mean, they love Trump, right? How am I doing in Iowa, by the way, Sonny? Am I doing okay? Can you imagine if I lost in Iowa or lost in Nebraska? But I don't think that happens. No, we did it, and we did the right thing. They were targeted. This is why no president's ever taken on China, because they play tough. They say, we will target your farmers. Well, you're a politician. You can't lose the entire Midwest. In this case, I won the entire Midwest. Remember when you first came over, you said, sir? And he shows me a map of the country. The entire middle of that map was red. Red, meaning Republican, right? But this is why. So they say, well, we're going to target your farmers. So the politician, president, would say, well, don't do that. Let's delay action. So they continue to rip us off. I didn't say that. I charged them 25% tariffs. I charged them tariffs on dump steel. We took in much more than 28 billion. We took in 28 billion times, many times, okay? And the rest went to the U.S. Treasury, if that's okay. But we gave $28 billion to our great farmers. That's why our farmers are all in good shape. And 2 weeks ago, China, I signed a trade deal, but it's not the same. I thought it was so great. I signed a trade deal that was so good. It was so brilliant. It was this great deal. But I don't feel the same way. The ink was drying on the trade deal when we got hit by the plague. So it's different. Does that make sense? It's just different. I don't feel the same. But 2 weeks ago, Sonny, they ordered the largest order of corn in the history of our country, the largest order of soybeans in the history of our country, and the largest order of beef in the history of our country. You know why? Because they think I'm going to win, and they want to have me be happy. Because they're smart. Because they know the real numbers. You know, they're very smart. They know the real numbers. But no, they want me to be happy. And I appreciate that order. But our farmers said something to me that I can't. We had them in 2 years ago, and they were getting hit hard by China and a lot of other factors. And I said, you know what I'll do? I'm going to give you a subsidy. They said, sir, first time that ever happened, we don't want a subsidy. We don't want a subsidy. We just want a level playing field. And they were upset by the word subsidy. Remember that, Sonny? Everyone else comes in. They don't care. You can call it anything. We want money. We want money. Everybody, foreign nations, people, everybody, except the farmers. The only time it happened, sir, we don't want a subsidy. All we want is a level playing field. And it's so unfair. Farming has been going down for 20 years. It's been like a slide down. And now we got it perfectly. We have the USMCA instead of that horrible NAFTA deal that just kicked in. Everyone said impossible. And plenty of other things. We won't go into it, but our farmers are treated well. But China gave $28 billion, with a B, billion dollars that we divided among all of these great farmers. And we have a lot of happy people out there. And we're in that position where we made a great deal. But the bad part is what happened after the deal was made. We have some representatives here who have been incredible for Native Americans, for this particular area, by the way, for you more than anybody else, I have to say. Congressman Dan Bishop, did you ever hear of him? Dan Bishop and Congressman Richard Hudson. These are two great congressmen. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Richard. And they did it. They were the ones that called. There wasn't anybody. It wasn't Nancy. Nancy was not in favor. It wasn't anybody else. It was these two guys more than anybody else. And some help from some warriors, right? Some real warriors. Speaker of North Carolina House, a great gentleman, Tim Moore. Young Tim Moore, we call him, right? Good job you're doing. And a candidate for Superintendent, Catherine Truitt. Catherine, great. Good, Catherine. How are we doing here, Catherine? Are we doing good? We're going to win? We're going to win North Carolina? We better win North Carolina. I've been back here so much, I might as well just call it my home state. I've been here Sleepy Joe doesn't make it too often, nowhere. He likes Delaware, you know, he never leaves out. Joe Biden will be speaking today. I said, watch, it's going to be Delaware. In Delaware, you know, it's 15 minutes from. Nah, you can't do that. You need energy. To be president, you need strength, you need energy. You need strength and energy. State GOP chair, somebody who's done a phenomenal job. Of course, if we don't win the state, he'll be fired so fast, your head will spin. Michael Whatley. Michael. Great, Michael. We looking good, Michael, huh? And Chancellor Cummings of the UNC Pembroke. Chancellor has done a fantastic job. Where's the Chancellor? Where's the Chancellor? Stand up, Chancellor. Great job. UNC, that's great. Good area. Pembroke. Thanks also to Susan Tillis, wife of your great senator, who's making a very strong, he's moving along. He's moving along. He's going up like a rocket ship. We won't tell you the reason why. He should do it on his own merit. But Susan will take whatever it takes, right? Right? This other guy, he talked about honor. Honor, it's got to be honorable. Not one, but two. No good. No good. But Tom Tillis is a great guy, and he's really been, we've gotten to know each other really over the last year and a half more than anything else. And I got to tell you, he's great, and I think he's going to do terrifically. And I know he's out. I said, don't come here. We've got you covered here. We got him covered, right? Go out and campaign, but I appreciate you being here, Susan. Say hello to Tom. I think he's making it big. I think he's making it big. For years, Joe Biden fought to cut your Social Security and Medicare. You know that, right? He tries to deny it. A fact which Joe, in a debate with crazy Bernie Sanders, tried to get out of. So today I want to show you. I brought it along. You know, we're giving you an A version. This is an A version. We're giving you the big rally version as opposed to a little get-together with Indian Nation. But we're giving you the big deal. So I want to show you Joe Biden on Social Security. You can't cut Social Security, right? If you're a politician. Watch this. The video, please.
Let me ask you a question, Joe.
Yeah.
You're right here with me.
Yeah.
Have you been on the floor of the Senate? You were in the Senate for a few years.
Yeah.
Time and time again talking about the necessity, with pride, about cutting Social Security, cutting Medicare, cutting veterans programs.
No.
You never said that.
No.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government.
Look, here's the deal.
You're an honest guy. Why don't you just tell the truth here? We all make mistakes.
I am telling the truth.
And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time.
Joe, let me repeat it again. I want you just to be straight with the American people. I am saying that you have been on the floor of the Senate time and time again talking about the need to cut Social Security, Medicare, and veterans programs. Is that true or is that not true?
No, it's not true.
That is not true?
That is not true.
I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government.
Everything was on the table. I did not support any of those cuts in Social Security or in veterans benefits.
Whoa. Everything was on the table. All right, you're right. You just said it, including, in your judgment, cuts to Social Security and veterans.
In order to get the kinds of changes we need on other things related.
Joe, then
But we did not cut it.
I know, because people like me helped stop that. All that I would say to the American people, go to YouTube. It's all over the place. Joe said it many, many times. And I'm surprised, you can defend that or change your mind on it, but you can't deny the reality.
You know, I was making a speech a couple of weeks ago. That's how this happened. And there was a line in there done by a professional. You know, I don't usually use the speeches too much because it gets a little cumbersome and boring. But I read one line that he cut and really fought to cut Social Security and Medicare. These are two things politically you can't even think about, right? I've seen people, they go down 40 points if they even suggest it. So I said, this must be wrong. It's wrong. They said, no, sir, it's true. I said, there's no way it's true. Then they go back and they found out. He also wanted to cut aid to our vets. Can you believe that one, right?